Hello, welcome to Great Hello, welcome to Great Talk with Adam and Riley. I'm Adam.
And I'm Riley. How's everybody doing today?
This is our first podcast, and we're just going to give you a little about us if you don't already know us. First off, I'm Adam Kanata. I'm 21 years old. I married the love of my life in February, which is the most important part of my life besides Jesus. I work full-time, not for very long at the place I'm at right now. And
he's ready to go.
Yeah, I would like to consider ourselves, actually Riley and I both would consider ourselves recent rednecks.
Yes, because we didn't grow up as one.
No, we're city folk.
But we enjoy the lifestyle.
We do. So by that I mean I started avidly fishing more than just over a year ago.
I'll throw in there, I do not enjoy fishing.
We are trying to get involved in hunting. I love fishing.
Hunting is fun. Guns are fun.
Recently I bought my first truck. Before that I had a Camry, which is embarrassing, but I had one.
Why was that Camry so embarrassing?
Besides it being an old lady car, I wrecked it not too long after I bought it, but it continued running, so instead of fixing it, I just wrote it out.
Yeah, I can understand that. What was the extent of the damage on that?
The extent of the damage would be, I would say, a little bit of body.
Just a little bit, like how, like a couple inches for the
if the car is 10 feet long or 12 feet long, I would say 8 to 9 feet of it is damaged, yes, on the passenger side.
Okay.
Which is not that bad because I get to look at the driver's side every time I get in the car,
yeah,
so I'm not too worried about it.
I feel the same way.
I just left the other side, so and it's for sale. So if anybody wants to buy a beat up Camry,
$3 million.
Yes, it's sentimental value. I don't let things go very easily.
Well, we're gonna be famous one day because of this. So.
Oh yeah, this podcast is gonna shoot us right up to stardom.
I've never heard of anyone be a star because of a podcast.
I agree with that 100%.
But we're gonna be the first ones.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going a little in about myself. I drive a Chevy Impala. This is because recently my other car kind of died on me, and it was kind of sad. Whenever that car died, it died. It kind of died from the inside out.
So you killed it?
I wouldn't say I killed it, but I pushed it to suicide.
So yes, you killed it.
Well, if it was a court, I could be put in for child neglect.
Is that what it was?
It was child neglect.
So you hypothetically gave it sleeping pills and just left the house instead of feeding it.
Hypothetically, I didn't give it any food for 12,000 miles.
Was it food or protein? Because I feel like food is fuel, and you had fuel in it when you left it.
Well,
so you didn't give it any protein. When she
died, there was 8 gallons of gas in there, and I didn't even get to siphon it out. So we're gonna talk to Jake about that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I had a thing about cars I want to talk to you about. Do you feel like you've made it, in your own mind, after you drive a car that is the same car that your father drove as you grew up, or the same stature of the car that your father drove as growing up?
Not really. Explain to me what you mean by that.
Right now, I'm driving the exact car that my dad actually drove while I was growing up, and I feel like that is my standard for car, and I will never go to a car that is, I don't want to say below that standard, but I will feel almost embarrassed if I'm driving a car that is now lower than the car I have.
Only because now you drive one that's better? Because before you didn't have one that was nicer. You might have thought that it was nicer?
I mean, it was pretty nice. No,
it was a Sunfire.
It was a 2003 Sunfire, twin turbo.
No, 0 turbo.
In my heart.
Exactly. Only in your heart was that a nice car.
That engine roared, but it wasn't an engine that was supposed to roar. I think something was broke.
Yeah, the hole in your exhaust and whatnot. Vacuum leak. Okay. So to answer your question, no. My dad did always drive trucks growing up. I don't remember when he didn't have a truck. Now I have a truck, but my truck's bigger than all of his trucks. So altogether, I would look at it like I'm actually...
Compensating?
No. I mean, yes, definitely compensating. But yeah, I think I'm above my dad now. He should try to be like me.
Is that where you took it?
Yeah, that's right.
No. So would you drive the car that your mom drove ever growing up? That's not, because that's not my standard. Because my mother always drove a minivan, and in today's society, men don't drive minivans.
You're right, but women do. But I don't think a girl growing up is like, oh, I want to drive a minivan. I can't wait till I get a minivan.
Exactly.
So I can drive all my kids around to soccer practice.
Where a man growing up, which is like, if your dad drives a truck, you're going to be like, I want to drive his truck. But I feel like women kind of take the back seat with vehicles because they don't, I don't know if some don't think, there's always exceptions, but I would say a lot of girls don't necessarily care.
I think
to a certain degree.
I think that that's true, and then I think the women who do care scare men away a lot when they're like,
yeah.
If a girl has a bigger truck than me, it's embarrassing. I don't know what to do.
And I'll say it like this: I personally feel like my car, after I've hit the car that my father drove, I don't care what car I drive. It could be a BMW, Chevy, Ford, anything. But as long as it doesn't go below that, I don't care what car I drive.
That's
Because I'm personally, I don't care about cars, to be honest, as long as it gets me to where I need to go and I don't feel embarrassed inside of it. I did not feel embarrassed inside my old car. Mostly because it had AC and the car I have now.
You do not have AC
I
right now. This
AC.
is why I refuse to ride in your vehicle.
Which you have twice.
It's terrible. It's obnoxious. I sweat the whole time.
Okay, well,
And then, to make matters worse, I was crippled, so I was on crutches, so I had to sweat myself everywhere I went because I would have to drag myself
actually tore
around.
his ACL.
Tore my ACL playing football professionally, but I had to quit because, ACL injuries, a long time to recover. I got a family to think about now.
Yeah,
so.
Richard Sherman juked him out, so
yeah,
pretty bad.
I mean, if you're going to hurt yourself, get an injury in the NFL, you might as well be by the famous Richard Sherman.
Yeah. Because you don't
But
open your mouth about the best.
Yeah, he did. I opened my mouth about
the best. He opened his mouth and he tore his ACL because of it.
Yes.
But past that, I also consider myself a gaming enthusiast. I enjoy not only video games, I enjoy all games. I like playing games. I like winning games. I'm a competitive person.
But it's not just the fact that you like winning games. You like anything that revolves around the game.
I like things that revolve around competition.
Okay, well, what else about you? What else is there about you?
I'm a man of God. Been thinking about getting baptized.
You've never been baptized?
I was baptized as an infant.
No, I'm talking about baptism.
No.
Not sprinkles.
No.
I don't think they put you underwater. The whole idea of baptism is awesome because the idea is you go under the water and that, rinses you, that washes you clean. So you go in a sinner and come out. I mean, you're still going to be a sinner, but you're forgiven for your sins, and you're showing the whole community that you love Jesus, which is awesome. And God loves that, and He puts that in the Bible that John the Baptist baptized Jesus. He was perfect; he didn't necessarily need it, but he was showing that he loves the Lord.
And here's my situation with that. I've always considered myself a good person. I want to limit world suck, just the entire world just sucking. Like, I don't like things like that, and I've always considered myself a good person. I've always believed in the whole Christian faith. And then now, once I started going to church, I just kind of didn't even think about the whole baptism step. So I feel like I've already made steps towards spreading the word, my opinions on it, sharing my faith with people, but I've never done the baptism thing. So I feel like I kind of missed out on that part, and I feel like when I go back to it now, I don't feel like there'll be like a change as much anymore because I'm already doing steps towards that.
It's not necessarily that, but it's the fact that the Lord said that it needs to be done. So it's part of your walk, whether you're necessarily going to feel different or not, whether you're going to come out and be like, oh, wow, I feel, more wetter than I was. Like, it's not that. It's the fact that you're showing the church that you want to follow Christ for the rest of your life. And that's awesome. I grew up in church. Around church, I was forced to go to church when I was younger. It was just, this is what we do. My parents were involved in church. So when Sunday morning rolled around, Wednesday night rolled around, you just go to church. Didn't bother me at first, and I thought I was a Christian, and I prayed the prayer and everything, but until I got older, when I started really realizing like what Christianity was, for a short period of time, I was going away from it on purpose. I was like, I don't know if I want to be a part of this. I don't know if I believe all these stories. Like, I don't know. Being around it your whole life, people assume that you're brainwashed into thinking that this is what a Christian is, and this is what your walk should look like, and it's not like that. It's not like you can be around Christ or be around church and say you love Christ, and then all of a sudden, you're a Christian and you're brainwashed into being a Christian. If you didn't go to church, you wouldn't be. That's not the case. In my opinion, when I grew up around it, it almost at some point pushed me away, the fact that I was forced to go to church. If I wasn't forced to go to church, I don't know where I'd be either. But I started going on my, when I got older, I started going.
Once you get friends and things like that.
Friends like that, I started going on my own free will. And church camp, everybody, hates church camp, talks about church camp and says like, well, I guess older people say, it's a hype thing. People get you hyped up. Well, there was a church camp. That's where I rededicated / actually dedicated my life to the Lord. And since then, I've been pursuing the Lord. And it gets complicated at times, especially being married and being busy and wanting to spend more time with my wife and not go to church and stuff like that. It's a struggle, but I'm excited that I'm on the path I am now. And it's cool to see that you're on the path you're on now with pursuing baptism and all that stuff. And
I've
making
been thinking
decisions
about baptism a lot as of late.
Have you talked to anybody about baptism?
No, I haven't. This is actually, I mentioned it to Taylor once, like probably about a month ago.
Yeah.
Just like nonchalantly, and then now you guys are probably, I think, the only two people.
Well, now hopefully the whole world.
I actually joke about it with my mother sometimes, and I say, "Are you going to church this Sunday?" She's like, "Oh no." I'm like, "Oh, I'm getting baptized. So do you want to miss that?" And she's like, "Oh, what?" And then like.
So do you think she'll come when you're actually getting baptized?
Oh yes.
That'd be awesome.
But she doesn't believe me anymore because now I say that every Sunday.
No, we'll have a party afterwards. Be like, Mom, I'm getting baptized, and we're all coming over here for cashews.
Yep.
Make
sure everything's ready. Is that the normal baptism party? Just cashews?
Yeah, I think so. For baptists, for sure.
Because I don't think I want to be baptized. If
you don't like cashews?
No.
I don't think I do either. But it's like if there's not a bowl of cashews, then what are we all doing here? You know what I mean? Celebrating Riley's,
always,
decision to follow Christ and cashews.
Yeah, if you're not celebrating the cashews, there's not really a point. And this is all joking for people who don't understand our personalities.
Is it? You've never had a bowl of cashews at your baptism party?
No, I've never been to a baptism party. I've been to a first communion.
Have you ever been to a wedding?
Actually, I've been to 2 weddings before. Yours was not one of them. And every time I think about it, I'm like, why would I start a podcast with someone who doesn't even enjoy my company enough for me to be at their wedding?
Well, this is really what happened. I heard you were a DJ at weddings, right? And I didn't want you to be like, oh, I'm offended that I have an actual DJ here. You know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, I just won't invite him. It's like you know what I mean? Like when you don't want to call a girl back after you went on a date, you just ignore them because it's easier.
I've never been on a date before, to be honest with you. I have a really sad life.
Riley. You poor thing. I have never either.
I've never been on a date.
I have
never been on a date
marriage.
without. Yeah, you did have an arranged marriage. That's probably why the wedding wasn't featuring Radio Riles at Instagram.com. And then I have never been on a date where I was not dating the girl already.
Well, I think most people don't go on a date. I feel like if you go on a date, you're dating the person. So you're saying you started dating the person before you went on a date? So you were like, hey, we're talking, we're officially dating, but I haven't dated you.
I've hung out with groups before, like as in a group, and talked to them for a while, like talked to them on the phone like every night. But this was at a point where I wasn't driving, or I was sharing a car with my brother, or I worked every day.
The first time I went on a date with my now wife, her mom drove us.
Yes. That's fun.
Mm-hmm. And they turned around and almost didn't come, and it was a disaster, and I was like freaking out. And then she got there, and she had just been crying and all this stuff, and I was like, oh, I can't believe her mom would turn around and not let her go on a date. But then, she's my mother-in-law now, and I love her to death. Believe it or not.
I love Mom.
You love your mom? I have 2 moms to love, and it's hard.
No. Your mother-in-law.
Oh, you love... Yeah, you love Mom.
I call her Mom because...
I do, too.
One night, I had to get her attention, and I didn't know her name, so I just called her Mom.
Yeah.
And then...
I don't know when I started calling her Mom, honestly. I have no idea.
It just happened.
Yeah, it just started like Mom. Because it's weird to call somebody like...
When you're just boyfriend
and you don't want to call them Miss or Mister.
Yeah.
That's weird. You just call them their name.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Speaking of moms, I had a really weird dream about my mom the other night. And hopefully she listens to this, but hopefully she doesn't listen to this part.
Just to this part.
Because I actually had a dream where her and my father passed away in a car accident, and you and Taylor actually ended up coming to live with me.
Which is like the worst case scenario for us coming to live with you.
Yeah, I don't feel like that would be very happy for me or anybody else.
Like, Riley, we're here. Woo! Yeah. Like, we're all stoked bringing our Xbox and stuff, and you're just sitting on the couch.
My mom used to sit there.
Yeah.
Because every time you sit down on the couch...
Okay, I'm moving.
That's my dad's spot. Why are you sitting in my dad's spot? Just awkwardly. But Mom, I love you. I don't want you to die.
Yeah, dreams are whack.
Dreams are pretty crazy. Actually, we ended up studying dreams in my sociology class this semester. and not as much studying as just talking about it. And like one of the questions that they asked, more the professor asked me to discuss as a class, and I figured you would have a lot, not of insight, but a pretty big opinion on this. Do you think dreams affect your life? Like, say something happens one night in your dream, do you think that will affect your day, or that thing will happen, or your day will be messed up because of that thing that happened in your dream?
I don't think it'll come true necessarily. I think things do happen. I had a friend when we went camping one time. She was just standing there in front of a table and just staring at it. And I said, "What happened?" And she was looking at the ground, and there was a ketchup bottle on the ground, and it was a green ketchup bottle.
Green?
And it was you remember they used to have green? Yeah. They used to have.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, back in the day, they used to have green ketchup, and they swore it tasted the same. It did not. It tasted like puke. It was nasty. Anyway, it was on the ground, and it had spilled, and I said, "What happened?" And she was like, I had a dream last night while I was sleeping in my tent that ketchup bottle fell off the table right where it is and broke open and spilled the way it did." And like, I don't know why she wouldn't make that up. She was freaked out, bro. She went and sat down and was like racking her brain like, what? And it was just a ketchup bottle falling, but that happened in her dream the other night. It's weird.
There are sometimes when my dreams do affect my day, or at work, I'll be mad at someone because in my dream they do something stupid, and then when someone asks me like, "Oh, why don't you like this person?" and I go to say it, I'm like, "Wait, that doesn't sound like a thing anyone would do."
Yeah, but that happens with Taylor and I. Sometimes when you're sleeping next to somebody, even you'll wake up and you had a dream like where she cheated on you or she pissed you off or something like that, and you're like
subconsciously mad, but you're not like,
she told me
you feel bad about being mad about it.
She told me the other morning, she was like, I woke up kind of angry at you for a dream, and she knew it wasn't okay to be angry at me, but she, for some reason, like, she felt
you still
anger.
were, yeah.
And I was like, well, it's not fair, but I mean, I've woken up the same way, or it goes the other way. So you could wake up and really, really care about somebody more than you did when you went to sleep because you have a dream that, is all lovey-dovey and sweet.
And like, I also feel like sometimes if something is on your mind, that's going to happen, whether it be negative or positive. If I think, oh, I haven't seen Adam in a while, I have a dream about Adam, that next day, Adam texts me like, hey, we should hang out.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like stuff like that happens. And also, negative stuff, I also feel if you go into a day, think it's going to be a bad day, like Friday the 13th, I don't think anything actually happens on Friday the 13th. I think everyone has a negative vibe towards it. Yeah. So when they go about the day, all the bad things happen, and they just notice all the bad things. Like, oh, I was stuck in traffic for an hour. But you could be stuck in traffic for an hour every day. But you just notice it that day.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there. Yeah, that's true.
I also feel sometimes dreams affect you physically. Like, say you're having a dream right as you're going to bed. It's usually right when the first 5-10 minutes of you actually sleeping.
Yeah.
Is or sometimes at night I'll be dreaming that I'm walking, and then I just take a step in real life and there's nothing there, and then I wake up all shocked or things like that.
It's like where if a ball's coming at your face or something's flying at your face and you wake up and you
wake
move,
up dodging.
You dodge.
I've had that. My most outrageous one was actually in class when I was a junior in high school. I had a small phone, so I was able to keep it in my palm, and I had it underneath my chin, and I was leaning on it, so my face was suspended on my arm as I was leaning with my elbow to my arm on the table, and then I fell asleep like that, and then I had a dream that it was a grenade, and someone pulled the pin out, and I woke up and I threw my phone.
You threw your in class?
In class, and my teacher just looked at me, and I'm already known as the class clown, so she just kind of looked at me and was just like, "What? Why would you throw your phone?" And I was like, "You don't want to know, ma'am. I'm sorry." So I just picked it up, and I was tired. I looked weird getting out of a desk. It covers your entire body. So everyone was just staring at me for 10 seconds. So that was a bad experience.
No excuse for that one. Why'd you throw your phone? Being cool.
It was a grenade. It's either lie, say, "Oh, I thought it would be cool or funny," or "I thought it was a grenade," and then everyone thinks you're mentally insane.
On that subject, one time somebody dropped their phone during church in a youth group, and he reached down to grab it, and as he did that, somebody else dropped their phone, and everybody laughed, it was just funny. At that point, it was funny. But then this kid that nobody liked continued dropping his phone on purpose, and he every couple minutes he would drop his phone again. It would break open, and the third time a couple people laughed, but I was behind him, so I saw him let it fall off his leg, and I realized what was going on, and he did it probably 5 or 6 times until somebody finally said, "Give me your phone." And he's a teenager. He shouldn't have been doing it. Yeah. He got his phone taken away in church. It was embarrassing.
I almost thought once that I was going to be getting kicked out of church because of my phone.
Really?
Because one time it was during a prayer service and everyone was quiet and the entire place had been quiet for like 30 seconds. And I went to go put my phone to sleep and I actually accidentally hit Siri on it.
Yeah.
And Siri went off and Siri was making noise, boop, boop, boop,
Yeah.
and then boop, boop. And it made that noise. And then my friend Zach, who was sitting next to me, he thought it was his phone. So he flipped the ringer thing thinking his ringer was on. And it was off and he turned it on and he got a text at that moment.
Yeah.
So then his ringtone goes off.
Everything bad happened at once.
Yeah. Which was, I believe, was Boys Around Here by the country song by Blake Shelton, Boys Around Here. And it goes the chew tobacco, and then it goes chew tobacco in the middle of church. And then both of us die laughing. And we laughed for like 5 minutes. And like we both thought someone was going to come and be like, you guys should leave. It was just a really bad experience.
I got when I was in high school, I got in trouble in church one time. I was in youth group. And
was this in church or a youth group?
Youth group. I was being stupid in youth group, and everybody was kind of paying attention. It was a real sensitive moment, and I was not. I wasn't paying attention at all. I was just on my phone or something like that. And somebody had taken my hat off my head from behind me at one point in the church service, and I had a buddy in front of me who he was really paying attention, like invested in the sermon, and he had a hat on. So everybody's deep into this conversation that Chris Bacon was preaching. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh, I want my hat back. So I reach up and grab the hat off this kid's head. And then Chris saw me at the time. And since he was so invested in the sermon, like, he could tell I was just goofing off. So he's like, Adam, what are you doing? I was like, what? And he was like, come sit up front. So I had to get up in front of everybody and go sit up front. And it didn't embarrass me.
Like next to him or in the front row?
In the front row.
Okay. And
it wasn't that I was embarrassed, because I don't really get embarrassed with that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I was just mad. I was like, why are you going to call me out like that? Like,
yeah.
Nah. But, yeah, so
I understand that completely. That's rough.
Like, I don't mind getting in trouble. I just embarrass myself if I do something myself stupid.
Yes.
Like something I didn't purposely try to do.
If I do something on purpose and I get in trouble, then yes, then that's something I'm upset about. But if I do something on accident and I get in trouble, then, or someone is questioning my actions on something where I know I'm right and they're just walking into a situation blind, that makes me very angry.
See, I'm the opposite. If I walk into a situation blind, which I do a lot because I don't think before I speak, then I feel uncomfortable because they know something. That's why I don't talk about cars. I feel like I know a lot about cars, but I don't think I really do.
Yeah.
So when I start talking about a car, somebody's like, wait, no. And I'm like...
I can check my oil and I can pump gas.
Yeah, pumping gas is hard, though.
And I think I've checked my oil 3 times.
Speaking of pumping gas, did you hear that story about... people that were putting needles underneath of gas pumps with HIV on it?
Yeah, I did.
Do you think about that every single time you squeeze
I check almost every time, unless I'm at Wawa.
Now they can do it with Ebola. Why not? They do it with Ebola.
Ebola, that's scary.
And you don't want to do that because zombies and stuff. I heard on Facebook that you turn into zombies.
You don't trust everything you see on Facebook. I don't believe the Ebola zombie thing at all. I believe Ebola, you can die if you lay in pee.
Well, actually... As of August 8th, the first American citizen that was diagnosed with Ebola has died.
For the U.S.?
Yes, the first American citizen.
Yeah, the first American citizen.
With Ebola died. Passed away on August 8th.
Ebola's just scary, man.
I don't even know. I haven't done any research on it.
I just started going to the gym. It spread through bodily fluid. So if I touch someone else's sweat at the gym, I can get Ebola and die.
Yeah, but probably more likely...
Touching pee, puke, any feces... The other day, I may or may not have been laying in pee for an hour.
Yeah, that's true. Tucker. Our dog peed on him while he was sleeping.
Yeah.
As long as Tucker doesn't have Ebola, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. That was a bad day. And I think on that note, we're going to end the very first podcast. We'd like to thank everyone for listening. This will be on YouTube. The first one will be on YouTube. We don't know where exactly all of the ones after this will be. We're thinking about trying to get onto the podcast actual app, maybe certain websites that we could go on. But this is YouTube, so like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, be brutally honest in comments. We're not going to get hurt over things, so let us know how boring it was or if it was a good time and what you want to hear about. Yeah,
but this is fun for us, and hopefully it's fun for you. But I'm Riley.
And I'm Adam.
This was a great talk. Have a good day.